You're watching Tackle Talk Live, now into our 6th season as your #1 resource for bass tournament information, with a primary focus on both Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn. Your hosts, Iowa Pro staffer Steve Graff and Territory Manager for Sportco Marketing, Kevin Jean. Two guys with years of successful tournament experience on all levels. Guys who understand the importance of good information. Anglers willing to share their knowledge to help you become a better angler. So pay close attention as these guys give you more insight on how, when, and where to catch winning stringers. Here are your hosts of Tackle Talk Live, Steve Graff and Kevin Jean.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live. I'm Iowa Pro staffer Steve Graff, along with Territory Manager for Sportco Marketing, Mr. Kevin Jean, down there in Lafayette, Louisiana. And Kevin, first question I got, how was Emory's softball weekend? Do we have a good tournament?
Went well for our first weekend back for several months, Steve. I think we, as a team, that went 4-1-1, single elimination tournament on Sunday. So went well, lost in the semis, I believe, but it was a good weekend overall. We're back at it this weekend in College Station, so we'll be ready to get after it again. Hey, I'm going to miss the Despino tournament, though. Coming up this weekend on Toledo Bend. Man, I hate I'm going to miss that one. And then Battle of the Brands on Sunday on Toledo Bend, Steve. As of about 30 minutes ago, I heard they had 35 entries. So, guys, you need to get registered for that event. It's going to be beautiful weather. I know we're going to probably have 300 teams in the Despino. Stick around, fish Battle of the Brands on Sunday. We don't need to lose this event for Toledo Bend. So, guys, we got to show up and fish it if you're available. Sorry, I'm not going to be.
Right. Well, we've got that. We've got Lake of the Pines. Kevin, I fished there this past weekend with the ABA Solo 150. Had a good turnout. Had over 40-something boats in that event. And maybe the greatest tournament weigh-in I've ever witnessed since I've been fishing since 1990. It was absolutely – Lake of the Pines is just absolutely on fire, and we'll get into details about that. Record-setting weights were brought into Lake of the Pines. And we'll talk about Hayden Heck, Milton Adams, Dominate Bass Champs over there at Sam Rayburn. We'll get to that. We're going to wrap up Toledo Bend Bass Series. The South Toledo Bend Tournament was this past weekend. And we got a special guest today. MLF Pro Toledo Bend guy Justin Cooper. He'll give us a preview, kind of what's going on at Toledo right now. With let's see, who's coming up this weekend at Toledo? Despino. And that's it. There's nothing other.
Battle of the Bands, which I was just talking about. Battle of the Brands, which I was just talking about. The Outlaw Outdoors puts on.
But no Bass Champs or no Texas Team Trail. Nothing.
You got the Toyota Series starts on the 6th at Rayburn, and then the high school event this weekend at Rayburn. So you got Toyota Series high school event on Rayburn. You got Despino Battle on Brands on Saturday and Sunday on Toledo Bend. So kind of all we got going on this weekend. Them Toyota Series guys, man, they're having to practice over there today in that weather. But, get anxious to get Justin on. He's been doing a lot of guide trips on Toledo Bend. So we're going to get a Toledo Bend fishing report, really go through Toledo Bend for all the guys coming in, fish the Despino tournament, and kind of, talk with him about life on the road a little bit and getting his first major MLF win, kind of how that's changed his life, which I know it has. So anxious to talk to Justin. We should have a good interview today.
Yeah, we got a major storm coming through Natchitoches as we speak, so we may lose power. If we do, I'll move to another part of the house where I've got a generator that'll kick on. But for right now, we're good. And so we got all this and more today right here on Tackle Talk Live. We're going to take a quick break, recognize our great sponsors, and when we return, we'll visit with MLF Pro Toledo Bend guy Justin Cooper. You're watching Tackle Talk Live.
A good marine dealer is hard to find, but a great dealer is even harder. But in Iowa, Louisiana, there's a marine dealer that falls into the great category. Power Implements Marine, South Louisiana's go-to dealer for all things related to the boating industry. A Minn Kota, Garmin, and Mercury dealer, guaranteeing you first-rate service in both sales and repair. A great selection of new and used boats to choose from, including Skeeter, G3, Ranger, Camus, and Go Devil. A knowledgeable staff that will treat you like family and are always willing to go the extra mile to ensure you walk out a happy customer. To see everything they have to offer, go to Power Implements tackletarnaments.com or stop by 606 East Miller Street in Iowa, Louisiana. Plus, mention Tackle Talk Live and save $500 off a new or pre-owned boat or $50 off your first service ticket. Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Nothing is worse than being sick on your family or fishing getaway. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in the hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your health care needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6 just south of Toledo Town, or call 318-508-5323. Very few stores are a complete one-stop shop, but Cypress Knee Outdoors is such a place. A store within a store. Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's four-way. Whether you need gas, food, drinks, or bait and tackle, they have it. Cypress Knee Outdoors carries top-name fishing brands like Strike King, Sandtone, Spro, and V&M. Crappie jigs from Bobby Garland. Need hunting gear? They have it. Ammunition from rifle to shotgun shells. Deer scents from Buck Wild and Doe and Heat. Deer stands from Titan and feeders from T-Hanger. Cypress Knee has it all. Located off I-49, exit 127, just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana. So stop by Cypress Knee Outdoors and let John Abram and his staff show you everything they have to offer. Or give them a call at 318-238-HUNT. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Once again, you're watching Tackle Talk Live. We appreciate you tuning us in today. This segment presented by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches, Toledo Health Clinic, Cypress Knee Outdoors, Shimano, Power Implements Marine, located in Iowa, Louisiana, as well as Toledo Bend Bass Series, a new circuit right there on Toledo Bend. Appreciate their support. And Kevin, if you go to Power Implements Marine, what happens if you mention Tackle Talk Live?
$500 off the purchase of any new or used boat, or you can get $50 off a service ticket. All you got to do is mention, I heard about you guys on Tackle Talk Live. Save you some good money, guys.
Yep, there you go. On the Tackle Talk hotline, we've got MLF Pro, Toledo Bend guy, Justin Cooper, one of our homeboys, one of the guys that, man, we absolutely love to death. Thank you, Justin, for coming on with us today. And I didn't realize me and Kevin both didn't know you were practicing for getting ready for an event. But where you at, and what's up next for you?
So we're at Lake Murray, South Carolina. This is stop 3 of the Bass Pro Tour. This is second day of practice. So we still trying to figure out. It's a lot of water on this lake, and every bit of it looks good. It's kind of like fishing Florida, but not. So many points that look good and docks that set up right. So a lot of water to cover and not a whole lot of time to do it.
All right.
Justin, man, we haven't talked on air. We've, of course, talked off air, and congratulations on your first MLF win, man. You know, everybody says winning a classic changes your life, and it does. But for an angler like yourself to win it in what I believe is your third year on tour, to win an event where you're at, you know, in your professional career with sponsors and things like that, I think it had to have come close to changing your life. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, absolutely. It was huge for my career. It's huge for my self-confidence too. You know, I always knew I had the ability to potentially win one, but I never thought I would, honestly. I always thought I would just have a decent, solid career, because that's kind of what I've been. I've just been that, that average fisherman that goes and figures out a way to get paid more times than not, but never had the opportunity to win. And to close it out with an opportunity to win and actually get that W, man, it was big.
I remember Kevin Van Dam said one time that somebody asked him, man, what's the best bait in your tackle box? What's your favorite bait? What's the best bait you got to catch fish? He said, it's not a bait. It's called confidence. It's the word confidence. And for you,
That's
Justin,
right.
You just said that. You just you alluded to that now you feel like not only that you belong, but that you can compete with those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Confidence is everything with tournament fishing. and the ability to think on your feet and just trust your gut. And if it looks good, go fish it. Because, there's been plenty of times in my career where it's not even a place I practice. I just run down the lake. It looks good, and I have a thought to go fish it, and I pull up and catch one. That's an important to my day. So it's all about confidence.
Yeah.
Justin, let's jump right into Toledo Bend. We're not trying not to keep you long today since you're practicing, but big weekend on Toledo Bend with the Spino Turn Children Miracle Network tournament. Probably the biggest event of the year on Toledo Bend as far as number of entries. It was last year. We know before you left to go to practice, you've been on the water. You've been guiding a good bit. So let's talk Toledo Bend. Kind of give us a fishing report. It got a little tough this past weekend. Water clarity was changing. A lot of things changing. Water was on the rise. Give us a breakdown, a little fishing report, what you think's going on Toledo Bend right now.
These fish are on the move between, just warming temperatures, rising lake water, dirty water. These fish are trying to figure out where they want to be right now. And so it's one of those, you can hit them today and they be gone tomorrow because of how much they're moving right now with everything going on. But I expect this weekend for that tournament to be phenomenal. Hopefully it stabilizes a little bit. I think y'all got some weather moving through there today, right now. Actually.
Right now.
Yeah. So hopefully that gives them enough time to kind of stabilize. A lot of dirty water going to be coming in, but like I said, it should clean up in some areas and stay dirty in some areas. And I know guys that want that too, to be dirty.
Yeah.
And for those shallow guys, I think they're in for a great weekend. Up there, flipping bushes, cypress trees, that kind of deal. I still expect there to be some scope fish though too, which they can't use.
No forward-facing sonar. Sonar.
Yeah. So they can't use that. So it's going to be a shallow water deal, and some hydrilla. I know the hydrilla on that southern end of the lake is phenomenal. I didn't fish it last week, but I was in it, a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, and had a couple really good days out of it. So, anytime there's hydrilla in the pre-spawn leading up to the spawn, it's a no-brainer. It's going to be really good. So I expect big weights and guys to catch them how they want to catch them.
Up there on that north end, Justin, I don't know if you've been up to that 1215 Blue Lake area. That's usually about the only place on that end that's got grass on it. What can guys go up there and have a shot to maybe win in that area?
Absolutely. That's an area that's a huge spawning ground. So if everything hits just right, if it stays a little clean around that 1215 Blue Lake area, up to Solon's, Wrights, you got the potential to pull in a mid to upper 20 pound bag, and they're going to be all solid fish. You may have one 7 or 8 pounder, but the rest of them are going to be 4 to 5 pounders. And that's right. I grew up on the north end of the lake, and that's typically how it is. You're going to go up there, you're going to catch good numbers, and you're going to catch more of that average quality, that 3 to 5 pound range. Every once in a while you catch one of those unicorns up there. But when you go up there, if you catch a 20 to a 25 pound bag, they're all 4 to 5 pounders.
Yeah. Well, Justin, will the bushes come into play? The lake is about 7 inches low right now from pool. Well, can you? Is there any place up there you can go get in the bushes and maybe catch a good bag?
Absolutely. I expect the bush bite to be pretty good if guys can, find some area, find a couple coves where the water's a little warmer. That's what I would be looking for. Pay attention to your water temperature when you pull into these pockets, because there's always usually one, that's a little warmer than the other. And if you pull in one, it's a little warmer, it's got the right bushes, cypress trees, that's probably the one it's going to go down in. And I like around that 6 to 10 inch low below full pool, because there's not too much water in the bushes. It's just the right amount. Yep, where they're going to be right at the edge or right at the base of those bushes, and if it's full pool, there can be too much water where you can't get to those fish. So the water level is absolutely perfect for this weekend.
Yeah,
and it's setting up to me, Steve. I'm gonna say that there will be a top 5 bag this weekend come from the bushes somewhere. I'm not gonna say above the bridge, down below the bridge, because as Justin alluded to, the water level is perfect for this. It is setting up for a bush flipping weekend. If you find the right area, as Justin alluded to, you have to find the right area, the right water temperature where the fish are moving in or right on the edge of those bushes, and it will go down this weekend. And Justin, I think it's setting up perfectly as far as weather goes. We got a storm blowing through today. We're still going to have some cool nights, but we're going to have warm days. And I think by this weekend that those bush fish up north especially could really push on up, kind of, in and out of those bushes up there, especially with that water high. That's where they want to run to, especially up north when that water gets high.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, your typical, flipping any Texas rig bait, probably a dark color, because I would think the water is probably going to have, a bit of a stain to it more if you're on that north end of the lake, of course, where there's more run in. So, black and blue, June bug, that's kind of the colors I would probably predominantly stick to when I'm flipping bushes. And of course, a bladed jig, you can't overlook a bladed jig around the outside of those bushes, points, cypress trees, that kind of deal.
Justin, could a man go out there and let's go on the south end of the lake? And we all know all the fish don't spawn at one time. There's going to be some pre-spawn fish set up probably on some secondary points. Would that be another way you could attack Toledo Bend this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And traditionally, it seems like those fish on the north end of the lake spawn first. So, that dirty water heats up a little bit quicker than that clear water does. So, you may be flipping bushes on the north end, but then on the southern end of the lake, you still may be in that pre-spawn pattern, cranking some secondary points, with like a mid-diver crankbait, fishing some creek bends with a jig, or getting in that hydrilla with a lipless and a bladed jig.
Yeah, I think on the south end, we're talking old school fishing here. No forward-facing sonar. You're going to get in the hydrilla, throw the trap, throw the bladed jig. Back out, throw the Carolina rig, throw the football jig. It's going to be old school fishing. It can definitely be one in the hydrilla. I know Fisher's Men several weeks ago, they murdered them in the hydrilla on traps. Mm-hmm. I would be willing to bet football jig, Carolina rig on a point or on a creek bend somewhere. If you can find the right area, it's still those post spawners that they're just chilling there waiting for the water to get right on the south end.
Yeah, and if you do that type of technique, it's a 5 to a 7, 8 bites a day. You're not going to catch a whole lot of fish, but probably if you do get a bite, it's going to be a big pre-spawn female is what I would assume.
Justin, I want to switch gears with you real quick, and we're going to go in a totally different direction right now. It seems like every tournament right now, Justin, you've got disqualifications, you've got stuff going on every event, guys self-reporting. The no information rule, Justin, I want your opinion on this. And, I know you probably got to, play your cards right here. You can't say too much, but is this something that may be being over-policed right now? Because I know it seems to be what people are getting DQ'd for is this, information rule is one they seem to be violating.
Yeah, well, it's a tough rule, and as more DQs come out and this and that, we're learning more about the rule too, and how to try to tiptoe around it. And that's what you have to do. You have to tiptoe around it. Even, if you was right now to tell me something about Lake Murray, it's my job to tell you that I can't get that information. And then I'm going to have to report it to the tournament director. And now if I get popped for a polygraph, even though I've done that still is going to show up on a polygraph. They're going to, obviously, tournament director's going to let the polygrapher know that, hey, he did let me know something about some information that he got, but he told me that he didn't get it, or that he didn't, or that he let the guy know that he can't get any information. And that's supposed to cover your bases. But it comes to a point where if you told me, that you call them cranking points here, well, that's something that I've been doing. And now you told me that you cranking points. I've caught some now. I have caught some. And now on that polygraph, is it going to show up that I've used that information or I haven't used that information? It's a tough rule. I think, maybe one or two of those DQs maybe a little bit were too, enforce too much. Maybe that was their consequence was a little too rough.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a tough deal, and you just gotta shut it down. If a conversation does come down, you gotta shut it down as quick as you can. Report it if you need to, and hope it just doesn't bite you in the end.
Well, I know one guy, I asked a polygraph examiner one time at a tournament, I said, what is the key to the no information rule? And an angler he said, the key is if you hear information, if you act upon the information you received, like if somebody said, man, I caught him on a purple with a pink back rattle trap, and you go buy one of those, that's you're nailed. He said that they're going to get you. But if you don't act upon the information, now I don't know if that's true or not on your level or not.
Well, it seems like with that with the Matt Herring deal that he didn't act upon the information that he got and was still disqualified. So it's who knows? It's a tough deal. And I don't know if there's a right or a wrong way to go about it or an answer to this problem that's starting to be a problem, honestly.
Yeah. I'm personal friends with Matt, and he hasn't talked to me yet about it, but I'm sure I'll hear his side, his version of it, and again, hey, there are so many rules, and sometimes I remember an old coach told me one time I wanted to implement some extra rules for the football team when I was coaching, and he said, the more rules you got, coach, the more you got to enforce, and I think that's the same with MLF or the Elite Series, either one. The more rules you got, the more they got to enforce, and the tougher it is on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Justin, real quick, let's jump back to Toledo Bend, and we're gonna jump you off. We're gonna let you go because I know you get back to practice. And north end, south end. If you're fishing the north end, give me 3 baits that you got tied on this weekend. If you're fishing the south end, give me 3 baits you got tied on for this weekend.
So if I'm on the north end of the lake, I'm gonna have probably a 3/8 to a 1/2 ounce Texas rig flipping bait. Whatever your favorite flipping bait is, creature, lizard, whatever it may be. When I think they're in the bushes, I think most of the time when you flip in there, they're going to bite it right then. It doesn't matter. As long as the colors, probably close, that's probably more than anything, probably black and blue. And then a bladed jig, either a black and blue or a white. And then probably a spinnerbait too. You get a spinnerbait up around those cypress trees, especially if you go, really far north, Circle Drive area. A spinnerbait with a orange Colorado kicker is phenomenal up there this time of year. And then on the southern end of the lake, I would probably stick to that grass fishing with some type of lipless color, either a red or a gold. That's a typical Toledo Bend, a bladed jig, and then that's going to be my 2 baits for the grass. And then if I go out on some points, I'm probably going to drag a Carolina rig with like a fluke style bait, something like that.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Hey man, Justin, good luck this week. When do y'all start?
We start Thursday. Off day tomorrow, and tournament starts Thursday.
Okay, man. Best of luck, bud. We appreciate you, and again, congratulations on your big win. So happy for you. I know it's just awesome for you and your family. So, good job, man. Looking forward to keeping up with you this season. And hey, keep that hook wet and keep dropping them hammers on them, dude. Go ahead.
That's it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Coop. Appreciate it.
All right, Justin Cooper, Toledo Bend guide, MLF Pro. Justin gave some good advice there, Kev. And those of you looking to fish Toledo Bend this weekend, I would take notes for what he just told you because that was great advice. Either way you want to go.
And Steve, he's right. This past weekend was tough on Toledo Bend, is what I hear. I wasn't there, but I heard from a lot of guys it was pretty tough. Saturday and Sunday. Not a whole lot of fish being caught, but I think throughout this week, right now, today and tomorrow is probably going to be tough. Of course, today with this weather, tomorrow's probably going to be a little bit tough, but I think it should gradually get better. Tomorrow, Thursday, get a little bit better. Friday should be some pretty decent fishing. Into Saturday and Sunday, which we have 2 big tournaments on, I think the fishing definitely gets better throughout the week. I agree with Justin. I think there will be some really good sacks caught in the Despino and Battle of Brands. I think there will be some big fish caught. But it is setting up perfect for those north end guys with those bushes.
Yeah, it really is. And that's what I was just fixing to say. I know at Lake of the Pines, we got there on Tuesday last week, and the water temp was probably 48, 47, 48. And we thought, well, by the weekend, it's going to be, low 60s. Nah, wrong. It never got there. It got to about 55, 56. And I bet that was the situation on Toledo Bend. The water was probably stayed cooler than they expected. And and as Justin said, pay attention to your temperature gauge when you're going in these pockets. And it doesn't take but 1 or 2 degree difference to make one pocket really good and another one not.
Yes, agreed. Agreed.
But anyway, all right. When we return, we're going to take another quick break. We want to return. We've got tournament results. We've got lake level reports, and we'll tell you what's coming up. We got a lot going on still in the month of March, a lot of tournaments left. So when we come back, we're going to take one more break. You're watching Tackle Talk Live.
The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local fishing guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guide for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. 2 locations to serve you in both Nacogdoches and Bravos, Texas. Or give him a call at 936-205-4467. The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome back to Tackle Talk Live. This segment presented by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches, Toledo Health Clinic, Cypress Knee Outdoors, Shimano, Toledo Bend Bass Series, and Power Implements Marine, located in Iowa, Louisiana. And if you mention Tackle Talk Live, you get either $500 off a purchase of a new or used boat or $50 off your first service ticket. But you got to tell them, hey, I watch on Tackle Talk Live. I listen to y'all every week. So, and they'll take care of you. All right, Kevin, tournament results. I'll start off with the ABA Solo 150, which was an absolute insane tournament. I've never experienced a tournament weigh-in like this in my life. Hunter Moncrief from Brooklyn, Texas. Hunter won this event. He came in it's a 2-day deal. He came in with 10 fish for a total of 61.78 pounds. He ended up having a 1067 kicker, which was not big bass for the tournament. Day 1, he weighed 22.29, and on day 2, he came in with 39.49 pounds of bass. And you know it's bad, Kevin. I watched somebody videoed him, Walt Stevens. You know Walt, and he's part of one of my roommates. And I see Walt in the boat in this video, and I'm like, why is Walt in Hunter Moncrief's boat? They had to use 2 bags to weigh these fish in. He couldn't get them all in one bag. And I'm like, this is crazy. But anyway, so congratulations to Hunter Moncrief. He did a great job and one heck of a day. Jace Lindsay from Beckville, Texas, came in second with 55.24. He had 26.98. and 31.26 on day 2. Christopher Brazier from Longview had 55.99 total. He had 11 pound. He had big fish for the event, the 11-pound kicker. He had 23.81 on day 1, 32.18 on day 2. Zach Fogel, Angler of the Year last year. I was actually runner-up to Zach last year, Angler of the Year, and Zach came in 4th from Longview, Texas with 55.88. He had a 7.02 kicker. He had 24.04 on day 1, 31.84 on day 2. Now, Kevin, these first 4 weights I've called out, other than the first place, any one of these guys would have thought they would have won. I mean, you wouldn't even think it'd be a contest. And going down to 5th place, Brandon McDonald, also from Longview, had 55.30. He had 27.21 on day 1, 28.09 on day 2. And it was just Arthur Johnson from Judson, Texas, came in 6th, 54.39. He had a 30-pound bag on day 2. Robert Parkinson from Marshall had 43.63. He had 2 20-pound bag days, basically back-to-back, or a little over 21 pounds. And then Walt Stevens, my buddy from up there around Summerfield, one of my roommates, Walt came in 8th. He got the last check with he had 21.49, 21.32 for a total of 42.81. So had a good turnout for this event. The next one we go to Sam Rayburn in 2 weeks, and looking forward to that.
Lake of the Pines is on fire.
Yeah, that just you don't even seem real. I mean, it's just it's crazy.
But that is scope fishing heaven, is what.
Yes, absolutely.
Lake of the Pines is scope fishing heaven. There's no doubt about that. Steve, I'm gonna jump to Toledo Bend Bass Series event number 2 this past weekend, which is the south end of the lake, Pendleton Bridge down. Larmy Hill and Brian Wolf. Mr. Hill, if I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. But they had 26.59 with a 9.51 big fish. Steve, for this past weekend, 26.59 is tough. That was because it was tough this past weekend. Second place was Chris Hazel and Josh Peak had 22.84. Now, Steve, Josh is Jackson Peak's father. That's how we're going to refer to Josh now, as Jackson's father, because Jackson, who won the regional, both regional events, Toledo Bend high school event, and then Caney last weekend we talked about. Jackson is obviously shown his dad how to catch a few fish, so we're just going to refer to Chris Hazel and Jackson Peak's father. Third place, Toby Johnson, Sam Huckabee, 1979. Fourth place, Brandon Meyer and Pat Martin had 1869. Going all the way down here, Steve, to the last place check was 13th place with 1482. They had almost 80 boats again, Steve. To have that many boats last weekend when you had the Bass Champs going on at Rayburn and you had the Fishers of Men going on at Sam Rayburn, when you're not allowing guides and, it's no four-face tournament. This is the second tournament he's had this year, Steve, and he's almost hit 80 on both tournaments.
Yeah.
Incredible turnout for the Toledo Bend Bass Series. Guys, you need to go follow this page on Facebook, Toledo Bend Bass Series. Their next event, let me see here, make sure I tell you right. The next event will be on the north end. I might find the schedule. It's not pulling up right now. I don't have my phone. I apologize, guys. My phone is out of commission right now. I'll get the schedule. I'll tell you the next event after Steve releases these. But you need to follow this. You need to get in on this. No four-face sonar, no guides. They're doing a great job implementing the rules. They're doing a great job overall with this tournament. I really like – so when it first came out, Steve, I was questionable on the whole north-south thing.
Yeah.
But I told Matt Stewart that, the guy's putting this on. But I really like it now, and he explained it a couple weeks ago. If you live on the lake, if you're coming to the lake for vacation and you want to fish the tournament this weekend because it's off limits the week of until the practice day, the event's on the north end, you can fish the south end.
Yeah.
When you're there on vacation, you live on the lake, so it ain't like you got to go all week without fishing. So
right.
I'm becoming a fan of this north-south deal.
Yeah, I totally agree. I was like you. I was a little skeptical on how it was going to work. But again, when he changed the rule where you can at least fish one end of the lake opposite from the whatever tournament is, I thought, well, that's pretty good. It works out pretty good for everybody. All right. My back's killing me. Bass champ, Sam Rayburn. The Hammers showed up and they showed out. Hayden Heck, Milton Adams won this tournament with 36-3. They had I think it looks like they had a 9.9 kicker. My numbers are a little off here. But anyway, Todd Castledine and Russell Cecil were second. Pretty good team right there. They've been doing this for a long time, 28-5. Cody Ross, River Lee were third. They had 25-6. Shane Campbell, Wyatt Frankins were fourth with 24-8. Jason Chandler and Cordero Rawls, they had 22.6. And last place check went to Wesley Baxley and Austin Woodle. They had 18.6 for $1,000 on the last place check. They finished 18th in this event. And so I'm not sure how many they had total tournament.
Steve, how many boats they have in that one?
It doesn't. I don't have any information on that.
For 18th place, Rayburn fished good this past weekend. In fact, Rayburn fished pretty well. See, let me backtrack real quick before I go to fisherman results. Toledo Bend Bass Series tournament number 3 north of the bridge will be March 15th. Weigh-in site Pendleton Bridge. So March 15th, tournament number 3 north of the bridge. Tournament number 4 south of the bridge will be April 5th. You have to fish 5 of those tournaments to qualify for the championship. You can pay for 5 and qualify. We're going to have our flyer. We had the flyer. We're going to post some stuff about it. They are a sponsor of the show. We're going to have their ad up starting next week. We had some technical difficulties getting it up this week. We will have that up next week, but I want to make sure you guys had the schedule for that. Right. This past weekend, Fisherman Sam Rayburn, first place. Tater Reynolds, George Jean Jr., 25.95. Second place, Billy Parker, Zane Parker, 24.84. Third place, Lynn Adcock, Ryan Williams, 21.07. Fourth place, Bill Lambert, John Robinson, 17.61. See, they had a lot of boats show up. A lot of that, them 10-pound, 12-pound bags this past weekend. But congratulations, George and Tater, for winning Fisherman this past weekend on Sam Rayburn.
Real quick, got some lake levels to give you. This rain that just came through in our region over here, this will change. And there was some heavy rain, especially from Toledo Bend up. So Sabine River is going to be on the rise. It's going to kick some water down. I would say in the next couple of days, the lake will continue to rise. Toledo Bend right now is 171.38. It's 7.44 inches low right now, just below pool. And had a 10-day gain of 0.84, 24-hour loss. They've been pulling some water, 0.6. Sam Rayburn is at 166.88. It's 2.48 feet high. I look for that to jump up close to probably over 3 feet high by Saturday. If all the rain that comes down the river systems should jump Sam Rayburn up. 10-day gain of 8.76 inches, 24-hour loss. They're also pulling a little water at Rayburn, 0.36 inches in 24 hours. Lake of the Pines, it will definitely be on the rise, 229.67. It's about 3.96 inches below pool, so it's right at pool. And they've had a 10-day loss of 10.2 inches. They've been pulling on it. They were pulling on it while we were there. 24-hour loss, 0.48. And on Caddo Lake, 169.81. It's 1.31 feet above pool. And so you get water on the cypress trees, good water on them cypress trees right now. 10-day loss, 4.56, 24-hour loss, 0.24. So that's and again, that will definitely be changing. Go to your lake levels. It's an app you can store on your phone. If I had a tip of the week, that's what I would definitely tell you, because I use it frequently. And but it's called Lake Levels. It's right here. And make sure you add that app on your phone. It's right there. It's got a little looks like a little teardrop on it, and water drop. So it's called Lake Levels. It's all your Texas lake levels, and it's accurate. They do a great job of, and every lake that you imagine in the state of Texas is on that app. So anyway, if you're looking for something to add to your phone, some information, that's a good one to add. Upcoming tournaments, Cal.
Let me see here. Despino Tire this weekend, of course. March 6th, Toyota Series starts on Rayburn throughout the weekend. March 8th, Texas Team Trail is on Texoma. And then, as I alluded to, Despino Tire, March 8th, out of Toledo Bend, out of Cypress Bend. March 9th, guys, Battle of the Brands, the day after the Despino tournament. Outlaw Outdoors is putting it on. You need to get registered for that event. Go to Outlaw Outdoors or fishoutlawoutdoors.com. Get registered for that event. Very low entries right now, so it's your chance to really win big. You need to get in on that tournament.
Kevin, on the Battle of the Brands, does that mean you got to fish with a certain bait from one of those brands?
Yeah, GSM.
That's all V&M?
No, GSM.
Oh, GSM. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. March 15th, Toledo Bend North Series, as Kevin's already alluded to. That's not this weekend, but next. Also next weekend, Fishers of Men. Texas Northeast Division be on Lake of the Pines. And all I can say, guys, is you'll enjoy that one, because I'm telling you, they're biting over there. March 22nd, Dylan Poche Tournament, which is another huge event on Toledo Bend. And Bert and Shelley Poche do an absolutely awesome job with that. It benefits a Northwestern State fishing team at NSU. And so looking for something else to fish besides the Despino, this is probably the next biggest tournament on the lake. It's going to be the Dylan Poche Tournament. And it just continues to get better and better. So March 29th, Texas Team Trail will be showing up at Toledo Bend. I'm sure that'll be well attended. And March the 30th, Elite Outdoors, King of the Pines, the individual series. This is a new series on King at Lake of the Pines, and it's no forward-facing sonar in this event. I think 20 or 21 pounds won the last 2 weeks ago, and but I ran into the guy that is running this circuit. He was at the weigh-in, introduced himself to me, and hey, they're doing a great job, and we'll continue to talk about their new deal as well. So. Congratulations to all those guys that fished Lake of the Pines this past week and had all those big sacks. I just wasn't one of them. But anyway, it was fun.
Last thing here, Steve. Again, I'm gonna reiterate what we talked about last week. Guys, make sure to follow Power Implements Marine on their social media channels. They do an outstanding job there. They'll get in on some of the deals they're having, and they'll post those weekly, monthly. Some different deals they have going on, some great rebates, so on and so forth. Make sure to follow Power Implements Marine social media channels.
All right. That's going to wrap us up for this week. We appreciate you tuning us in. Check us out on our YouTube page, Facebook, Instagram, whatever way you listen to a podcast. If you'd like to become a member of our sponsorship team, please message us on our Facebook page, as so many have done, and Kevin will make sure he sends you a detailed packet. For Kevin Jean, yours truly, Steve Graff. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week with more Tackle Talk Live.